Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. I'm going to discuss with you today a common myth that when people give me a call, when I'm working with clients, etc., they bring up. And this is what I call the 183-day myth. So we're going to discuss it. I'm going to go over a little bit where it comes from, what the ideas are, what the actual truth is that you should be paying attention to. So let's discuss it. Before we do, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the all notification bell. Thank you for your support. If you'd like help with international tax optimization, residencies, citizenships, international banking, please reach out to us. You can book a call at calendar.com/Michael-Rosmer, link in the description below, or send a message to our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, so there's this common misconception that is based on a sort of almost like religious focus on the idea of 183 days. And this, it ties in, I've talked about this a lot of times, kind of the difference between residency and non-residency, how people focus on residency, they should focus on non-residency. 183 days factors into this. So what people very often will come to me and say is they'll say, hey, well, I'm not going to go and spend 183 days in this country. And I don't know, probably every week, maybe a few times a week, people will come up and they'll talk to me about this when we're engaging in conversations around where they're going to live and how they're going to plan their life, etc. They'll discuss, well, you know, I'm not spending if I don't spend 183 days in this country, or if I do spend 183 days in this country. And it actually goes in both contexts. Sometimes they'll say, well, you know, I want to be tax resident here, so, you know, I have to spend 183 days. The truth is, most of the time, not all the time, it depends country to country, but most of the time, you can be tax resident in a country without spending 183 days there. You'll notice if you were to read through a tax treaty, none of the 4 tiebreaker provisions mention anything about 183 days. So that's an indicator for you a little bit. In addition to that, most countries have some sort of factors that are related to your main home, your place of abode, your center of life, etc. And on top of that, most countries will take your money. So people are sometimes concerned about not being able to be tax resident somewhere. And the concept is sort of bizarre and misguided in the sense that really, if you have a reasonable presence in a country and you've got residency in a country, you can file a tax return. In fact, foreigners can file tax returns. You don't have to be a local to file a tax return because a foreigner can be liable for tax in that country. And they will take your money. And as soon as you have that, you have a tax return and you can provide that accordingly. And so sometimes people are talking a lot about tax residency certificates today. Well, often just being able to give a tax return is going to be much better than that in a sense, because you can prove that you paid tax on the money that was associated accordingly. So that part, usually you don't need to be worried, depends again on the country, but usually you don't need to be worried that you didn't spend 183 days, provided it's genuinely your home, you genuinely file taxes there, etc. On the flip side, we have people who think because I didn't spend 183 days there, I'm not tax resident. And this couldn't be further from the truth in a lot of countries. Again, countries are case by case. So there are some countries that are very clear, 183 days, you know, if you're not there for 183 days, you're not tax resident. But in a lot of countries, you can be tax resident without it. And in a bunch of countries, you can spend more than that much time there. It's a smaller number, but you can spend more than 183 days there and still not be tax resident. So it's really important to kind of move away from the fixation on, am I spending this much time, unless that's the rules of the local country. So what I would recommend is anytime you're going to be spending a reasonable period of time in a country, anytime you're going to be getting a residency permit, anytime you're going to be getting a citizenship, etc. in a country, go and look up and pay attention to what are their rules around tax residency and tax non-residency. Okay, pay attention to those two things. It'll vary country to country. Some places might be exactly what you think. Some might be dramatically different. I was talking to someone the other day who thought so long as they didn't spend 183 days in a country, this particular country, they wouldn't be tax resident. It's like, well, actually, under most circumstances, if you spend 90 days in that country, you could be tax resident. So you have to be somewhat careful. And so, yeah, just very, very important to look at the individual rules. There's no one size fits all. If you have questions about it, you can reach out to us. Happy to help you. And if you're going to be relocating somewhere, again, talk to us. If you want to figure out how to optimize, talk to us, and we are happy to help you. So I hope that helps. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. I will look forward to seeing you on the next video.